And basically, the thing that they told me was that these designs are theoretically covered under copyright because it's not an actual item, but it's a design for an item. So there is definitely still the possibility of patents being involved because it's not software, it's actual real physical things which patents were designed to cover. So I then asked him, I was like, well, what's the best defense to protect ourselves from someone maliciously coming in and saying, oh, you can't build that thing that you worked hours on because we own the patent for it. So he said that if you have an idea and you want to protect it from patents, you should write about that idea and establish that you have come up with that idea. Because then if someone at a later date tries to say, oh, we thought about that, the idea is to have this prior art that you can say, no, we've been doing this, we thought about that. You don't actually have to make something, you just have to write about the idea of making something. And that establishes that the idea is already there and that it's been discussed in the world. Can't hear you.
Sorry. One thing I wanted to point out is that I think from an economic point of view, the value of what's going on with the digital fabrication is a revaluing of our individual labor. Because rather than having a kind of division of labor in a factory setting, so the way that Adam Smith was so proud of how, you could set up a factory and have people just, make cogs. So one person makes a gear over and over and over again, and that's the thing they do for their entire lifetime. And they never actually get to see the finished product. So Marx then 160 years ago knew that that led to alienation in workers. So what you're describing and what part of the revolution you're describing is that we as individuals can go from the idea in our heads all the way to the finished product. And we can be involved at every single step from that creative impulse to creating the machine that is going to make the object, all the parts of the object, to putting it all together, to then using it, and then maybe even recycling it with our open source recycling gadget in the end. And I think that's incredibly valuable, and I kind of wanted to point that out to the group.
Thanks.
Maybe I have an answer to the patent issue. As being an inventor, I was faced to this question, and well, I can say something to the law in Germany. It's actually impossible to get, the law says you cannot get a patent on something which was published before you went to the patent authority. So actually in my case I wanted to get sure, and I just went to the patent office, and there's something like a patent light in Germany, it's called Gebrauchsmuster, and I just went there and I I gave them my Gebrauchsmuster, paid my €40, and so I got officially documented that I had this idea in this moment.
Excellent. I'm not sure that was a question, but that's okay. So it sounds like if you have an idea and you want to protect it from someone stealing it, but not want to protect it from other people using it, then your best bet is to share it with the world as soon as possible. And then nobody else will be able to come along later and say, we had this idea first, you can't use it.
Is there anybody that we've been overlooking that you can see?
Anybody else have a question? Raise your hand.
There. Come on, passing that down.
How you doing? I was just wondering, do you have any vision for a commercial aspect to these designs? Will companies be able to produce designs and sell them so that people can make them at home with their own customizations? Or in the choice holder example, could they sell the design to all the different components and the customer then build their own package from it?
Personally, at the RepRap project, we hope that people will take our design and sell it, because just due to the nature of the open source license and the project itself, if they're going to take it and mass produce it, they're going to need to make adaptations and improvements to the design. And since they're required to release those back to the community, it's going to make the project as a whole much better. What we're focused on is we want to make this technology really awesome. And so if someone can make it awesome and also make a living for themselves at the same time, I applaud that. So, yeah.
So there was one more person down here? Oh.
So is anybody doing sex toys with it yet?
I'm surprised Rose didn't ask that. As far as I know, I'm not sure. I don't think so, but you know, theoretically you could. Okay, I guess we're done. Thanks for your questions.